First of all, good morning to the Labmentix providers. My name is Ayush Rana, and we have been told to record ourselves on this beautiful project on Amazon Prime, which is to explore the data analysis towards their TV shows and movies. First of all, thank you so much for providing us with this beautiful data set so that we could analyze it properly. So I have made this project with the template given and also could provide some of the components also so that my project looks a little edgy in that sense. So here's my project summary, which is divided into subsections, the overview. So basically the goal of my EDA was to examine the TV shows and the movies available on the Amazon Prime Video. And because one data set provided the metadata of the one of the two data sets, and one containing the title level information. So our aim to generate the meaningful business insights. What would be the conclusion based on those data sets, and how can we come up with the ideas or what we could give the solutions to the uh, users so that we can have a proper content strategy. Understanding viewer segmentation, optimizing investment decisions, and improving user engagement on the platform. So basically, the idea or the aim was to get the insight from those data sets so that we could provide some newer understanding towards the uh, platform. So metadata uh, contains 9,871 TV shows and the movies, including title, genre, release year, age certification, rating, and so on. And I came up with this conclusion that data frame had 1 to 5 to 42 rows and 19 columns with that. I have read with the data cleaning and preparation part as well, where several columns were rectified with characters, age certification, seasons, rating that had the missing values, particularly in non-essential or conditional relevant fields. I performed EDA and then business recommendation and then gave the conclusion part. So basically, this was the summary, and I won't go much on this particular aspect because we'll be moving towards the each section and we'll tell you how I did it and what was the procedure of doing all of that part. So this is the GitHub link. Problem statement was, according to me, I have developed with this problem statement that how can we analyze Amazon Prime's content catalog to uncover meaningful patterns in terms of genre distribution, content type, release trends, ratings, certifications, language diversity, and country of origin. Right. Define your business objective. So the two objectives I could derive from the problem statement that is given in the PPT as well, which is to conduct the EDA part on a dataset consisting of movies and TV shows available on the Amazon Prime Video. The second goal was to derive actionable insights about the platform content catalogs, trend over time, content distribution, and key characteristics that define Amazon Prime offering. Guidelines were provided, and so basically, let's get started. So first of all, I have imported the libraries, the one of the predominant smooth libraries of Python. So the to analyze and visualize the data itself. Where this is the most important part, I would like you to notice that suppress warning for clean outputs because I have seen that when you perform a data analysis and everything at the time of the process, you will get a lot of warning signs, which is quite okay, which gives you a local warnings or the simplest warnings, but you want to ignore them because you know that that is not very relevant at your part, so you just ignore them. So for that, you make your code according to that. So the next step was to load the data. Here, the credits and the title part, the CSV were loaded, and I just also want you to download once again so that you could actually perform it. Load it because the runtimes file will be deleted when the runtime is terminated. So that is why we just need to load it again so that we can run it properly. Meanwhile, I just want to uh, try to tell this thing that for any EDA practices, like as uh, MBA graduate, specializing in artificial intelligence and data science, I will tell you that in each data sets or any data sets that I have gone through, the steps were kind of same, where you look over the analysis part, how you're doing it, what steps needs to be done in the EDA, or even in the projects such as time series forecasting, you see the EDA over there is slightly different, where you want to stationarize the data, and how you're stationarizing it, that depends on uh, the missing values, how you interpolating it. So that is itself one of the interesting part in ED when you do it. So once the data load, we'll go to view our data set first view. So to generate first view of my two data sets, I have used the head function, where head of the tail function, to see the first five and the last five information, so that I could get to know the view of my data set. Right. The second part was focusing on the dataset rows and the column counts, where I have noticed the shape of the credits and the title itself, right? So how many number of rows are there, the number of columns in each of the data sets. So it was needed to see, because there are cases where there are number of rows and the columns over there in every data set, and it is difficult for us to manually go through the each part of it. So it has been advised to see the uh, first five rows or the last five rows, seeing how many rows and the columns are there, right? And then the dataset information, and how you're getting the information of the two datasets. Either in a case of information, now you're looking towards the uh, going towards the descriptive stats, where you're seeing the mean, median, mode, standard deviations, and also some little information about it. So in our case, where information to look over the information about the datasets, uh, we went on getting the information of the two data sets, where we get the rows, columns, key columns, how many key columns were there, missing data, the data types, how many integers were there, and the objects or the strings are there. Purpose contains information about the cast or the crew involved in the movie series. Similarly goes for the summary or the title for CSV. Okay, our file has been loaded. So let's run it wisely. Mm, So basically, I have uploaded this data set, and after running it, generating the heads and tails, where we are seeing the person ID, name, and character role, the first five rows, and the last five rows of the two data sets. Then we are going towards the data rows and the column counts, where we have seen the shape of the first data set, how many number of rows are there in the each of the two data sets, then data sets information, and here's how we could able to find the information, where we are seeing that in our first data set, which was information on the credits. We are seeing there are columns there are 5 columns are there, and non-null values, and the data types are there. So we could able to infer that there are one integer and the 4 objects or the strings. Moving on to see the duplicate values. How many duplicate values are there? So we have could able to analyze that number of the duplicate rows in the df1, which is 56, and in the second duplicate rows of the title section, we have 3 duplicate rows, right? Then we could able to manage our missing values, that these are the missing values. We have uh, none missing values in the person ID name, but have the missing values in the character section. Then similarly goes for the title section as well, where we have could able to see the description where we have 119 values which are missing. So there is a need to interpolate it, or how you're filling the values based on your analysis part, based on your problem statement. Then moving on towards the visualizing part of it. So basically here there is a little uh, changes that I have done, not only to visualize the missing values, but also to consider in the format the percentage values. So basically, I have combined the two data set together to see the percentages over here. So through the chart, I could able to analyze it. There, this is my two data set where this particular so basically this is my two data set, this and this. So to analyze it, uh, I have came up with the conclusion that okay, based on my rows, these columns, this percentage values are there, which was my the missing values for the two data sets as well, right? So this is how I could able to analyze it through the code for the two data sets. Then what did you know about my data set, right? So basically I have came up with this part that 13% missing values and a total of 56 duplicate rows were found in the uh, values in the one data set, but the credit CSV file containing the 5 columns, which was fields such as person ID name, character, and role, and it has the 13% missing values. On the other hand, the second one, which has the 60% for the age certification and 70% of the uh, missing values were found in the seasonal section of the two data set, right? Now, okay, this was a little bit of about what is the data set was all about, what was the shape of the two data sets, what could be the information that I could able to extract from the two data set. But now the main component comes, which is understanding your variable, how you're understanding your variables. Because see, from the variables you are able to analyze the end conclusion or the solution, right? Because you are being provided with the problem statement, and now you need to analyze it based on your variables, right? So result depends upon your variables. So I could able to find the descriptive stat, uh, right, where again I have came up with this thing to get the columns of each, how many columns are there, to find out the relevant variable for my analysis, right? Because I could able to diminish few variables based on my study as well, right? If my study does not want the seasons or the age certification, I could able to exclude those part as well from my analysis part. So to describe the data, I have been involved with this code and analyzed this. So I came up with this variable description, the credits in the title, with each column, what it means, how it is useful, and which variable needs to be merged with the second data set to give me a proper analysis, right? Now, the main concept comes here. Okay, so this was the simple to check the unique values for each variable. So we could able to get this fact that how many unique values were there in the proper column. For example, person ID, which was this much unique values were found. Now comes up to the main part, which is the data wrangling. So data wrangling is simply means how you're handling the missing values. And now this is the part of your analysis. You have seen how many missing values were there, how many columns were there. You understood your variables and got to know each and everything. Now, the main focus is to how you perform, how you're doing a proper action into it. So data wrangling. So I have seen that in we could able to duplicate the rows, right? To basically drop the duplicate rows which were found. Also to see, also to handle the missing values of age certifications and impute it with unknown, because it has been seen that no values were given of towards the age certification. So it is important to replace those values with some string component which is unknown here, right? Because it has been that that particular column is were important for our analysis, but had the high missing values over there. So we could not able to exclude that particular column, but rather we impute it with the unknown section. Right. Now, same handling missing values in season, then handling missing values in these are the columns to get it. And then uh so first 5 rows of the merged data frame, we could able to merge it well, right? And to see how many values were there, missing values found. Again, here the missing values are still found in this section. And then we performed it, filling this with the placeholders, right? So now, after analyzing, we are seeing that now there is no missing values. Remaining missing values were identified or handled successfully. Here, filling missing values, this IMDb ID with the placeholder with unknown, and then confirm that all missing values are now handled properly. What all manipulations have you done? So here, these uh, manipulations that I could able to identify from the data loading to handling the duplicate values, now missing values analysis, data merging, the two data set files, and then post cleaning as well. Because I have seen again, I told you that to interpolate it, we need to find it, because that particular column was also very significant for us to understand the data analysis part of it in later, because we have this problem statement to identify each of the column related to the another variable, so that we could have the proper visualization from to see the Amazon Prime Videos content. Now, after merging, now this is the interesting part to visualize it. So my problem statement, goal one, which is achieved by this chart. And what was this chart about? This is the count plot bar chart. So basically, this chart approved my or achieved my problem statement one, right? Which was content type distribution. So here I could able to see there are the bar chart which represents the number of the titles and the content type, where I could able to see that there are a large number of title which is based for the movie, which is where 116,000 or maybe is 117 hundred and thousand uh, part of segment which was involved towards the movie, whereas the distribution of the content type for the show, which was a far more less than the movie. Now, again, question says, why did you pick up this particular? Because this is a frequency categorical variable. And for checking the frequency thing, you visually communicate the distribution of the content type on the platform. So basically, based on this uh, uh, frequency part to see the bar plot, the count plot, you're able to analyzing it. And you must be wondering that when I when I click on this particular section, I could able to get the content type and the number of titles are there. This has been worked with the Plotly. So you just need to, for the interactive dashboards or the interactive charts and the visualization part, you need to get the Plotly as well. Right. So We'll come up with the insight part in the later section as well. But here to go with the problem statement two, which was the time released per year, trends over time. So here we could able to see these were the movies or the number of the titles where the movies plus shows which was released, and then it was the content released over the years. So we could able to extract with this particular section as well. Right. So basically, this was why this was important because, again, a line chart clearly shows how the number of the title has changed over the time, making it perfect for the trend analysis. So when you're looking for the trend analysis, it is advised or maybe the predominant thing to do to analyze it through the line charts as well. Okay. Then problem statement three. So the problem statement three achieved by top genre by frequency. So we could able to get this top genre by frequency through the through our which chart is this again, the bar one, where we could able to see the most common genre, which was the drama, uh, were the one which was seen the most, and the least were the fantasies type in the Amazon Prime. So isn't it the insight that could make or change the perception of the segmented participants over there, as well the uh, people who are controlling the institutes over there. So this was basically benefits to both of the parties to look over the uh, common genres to establish something new as well. So this was also the business insight that we could get, and we'll focus it on the later section as well. Then the third chart, which was again the okay. So basically this again in the problem statement two, I have developed this individual charts, number of the movies and the number of shows segmented to see how many people were there in the movie section who noticed who looked over the uh genres, the common genres, right? Genres. Then problem statement four achieved to look over the IMDb score and the distribution by type to see the IMDb score distribution by content type. Here you can see the shows and the movies, which was a little, you can say, a bend toward up toward from the median as well, right? So a little uh, comparing the distributions of IMDb scores between the movie and the show types, right? So here the insights find that TV shows are generally have the slightly higher median ratings, while movie shows are wide, which is the widespread, right? It is between the median part, but it is widespread over there. Both have the notable outliers because you can see these are the outliers, which was the notable outliers indicating a mix of critically acclaimed and the poor received content as well. So it is not like that people are lovingly love that particular part, but also there were the people who literally either gave no comment or the no feedbacks over there, or maybe the negative content as well. Then problem statement five, which was achieved through the again the bar charts, the distribution eight certification on Amazon Prime, where again I interpolated those eight certifications values. So it was again, which was one of the important part over here, because if I could not able to impute this with unknown, I would able miss the important aspect of here. So eight certification on Amazon Prime. So basically unknown, we don't know. We could they could not able to give the or mentioned their eight certifications, but we could see the R2G 30-minute PG. Right. Well, problem statement six, which was the top 10 most popular titles. So by popularity, so this was the titles, all the all nights were seen by the most of the participants over there, right? So this was the also IMDb ratings. From through that particular rating, we could able to get this insight. And then the visualization code for this was basically the we can say a tree map. And here the tree map is responsible for also distributing the titles based on your production country. Here you can see that from the tree map, we could able to identify, okay, this US has this largest part, larger uh, production country for uh, the titles, and then you'll you'll get the Canada, the India, the France, and the basically the Japan, Australia, Canada. So each of the countries that are responsible for their production part. Oh, so solutions of business objectives. So what would you suggest to the client? So our client is basically the Amazon Prime video content creators, right? So those six problem statements, those six objectives, understanding the distribution of content types. What we found, there are a lot of movies and TV shows on Amazon Prime. Why it matters? While movies are great for quick viewing, TV shows keep users coming back due to their longer formats and episode natures. Right. Suggested solutions. Amazon could benefit from producing or acquiring more TV shows to increase user engagement and subscription retentions. Right or wrong? Right, because we have been seeing from our analysis part as well, because the major of the content were focusing, major of the population focused on the movie aspect as well, rather than the going towards the TV shows. One of the thing, maybe TV shows are much more time investing to see that, rather than uh, giving the time to the each of the episodes of 1.5 1 hour and 1.5 hour too. So rather than going on that, we are moving to the movies, which is related to the 2 hour time frame and interesting to go on. So basically, this is the perception, and how you're handling this perception is basically totally depends on the platform creators. Second objective, analyzing content growth over the time. So the number of the title released has been growing steadily, especially after 2015. We could able to get that through that line chart. So suggested solutions, Amazon should continue investing in new content production and also use this trend to plan infrastructure like storage, recommendations engines, and marketing schedules. Right. So this is also one of the important aspect over here to release, to see the trend over analysis, your analysis. You make some new production teams as well. You're producing more movies or the TV shows based on the how much segmented people of yours who are looking towards the different domains, either the movie or the TV shows or some um, anime related stuffs as well. Now, third is the exploring genre distribution. So basically, the drama, we could able to get through the bar chart as well, that the drama was the one of the most uh, uh, distribution which was seen by the population, right? So Amazon can expand into less common genres such as documentaries, family kids content, anime, or indie films to reach new underreserved audience, right? Because they could able to work on that segment as well. Understanding what content is most popular and highest rated. So, though based on the IMDb and DB scores, we could able to get that high rated and popular content often leads to better engagement and satisfaction. Right. Amazon should study what makes these titles successful and use these insights to guide future content investment. The next one is identifying where the content is coming from, the production countries. Yes, because which production countries is making those contents more frequently and how you're analyzing it with your home country, which is which are you suited in. For example, if you're in India and the production creators are set up in India and they want to expand this particular data, you need to identify where the content is coming from majorly and how people is looking towards those content, what are their views, what are their perception, and how if they mold into your sections. For example, one of the most predominant example over here, that in the western part, we the series called Elite, which was again remolded and blended into the Indian content as well, which I forgot that particular name, but that was the perception that if that particular content is coming from the US, how you're blending it and making it as well for the Indian population as well. Right. And the next is reviewing age certification and viewer segmentation. So what we have found that a majority of the content is released via TVMA or R, which is intended for adult audiences. Why it matters? That's not enough family or children content, which is true. Very true. Which limits Amazon's appeal to households and younger viewers. Right. Yes, it was being seen with that particular analysis as well. That major population needs to be or recommended for the children content as well, right? Because majority of them was focused on the TVMA or the R segmentation. Suggested solution: Amazon should consider adding more family friendly and teen content to attract parents and younger users, expanding its overall viewer base. So, what is the conclusion? This analysis gave a detailed look on the type of the movies and the shows available on the Amazon Prime. It showed that Amazon currently focus on more on movies than TV shows. Most of its content comes from a fewer countries, but especially from the US. And a lot of it is aimed at adult audiences. While Amazon already has strong titles in popular genre like drama and action, there are clear opportunity to improve variety, reach new viewers, and stay ahead of competitors. To grow further, Amazon should consider I could able to extract this that producing more TV shows, expanding into less common genres, investing in regionally diverse content, balancing content for all age groups. By doing this, Amazon can make its platform more appealing for the wider audiences, improve user engagement, and stay competitive in the global streaming industries. So this was all my EDA project. I hope that I could able to extract all the necessary informations, came up with the project problem statements, and gave the conclusion itself. So this was my AD project. And then again, thank for the internship holders, the Labmentix, to provide this platform so that we could able to actually analyze it and make our projects based on the newer insights of the learning. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. And I wish that I could get more projects like this so that we could actually make it better for our productive life as well. Thank you so much.